Tonight, a family ripped apart and a community in shock in Stockwell. The 16-year-old schoolboy who was shot dead has been named today as Nathaniel Burrell. People who knew him are struggling to come to terms with what's happened.
He's so polite, always coming in, manners, everything. They're just the sweetest family around here. Everyone knows them. And it's just, I have no words.
Also ahead, a PhD student from UCL is convicted of drugging and raping 10 women. And police say there could be as many as 50 more victims. Plus,
hostilities will end officially at 1 minute after midnight tonight, Tuesday the 8th of May.
London at the centre of plans to mark 80 years since that historic day. And
the solution lies with giving a young person a trumpet. The solution lies with giving a young person a saxophone.
Practising what they preach, Ezra Collective are back at school and they come bearing gifts. Good evening. Shot dead in broad daylight and just metres from his front door. Today, the 16-year-old boy who was killed in Stockwell yesterday afternoon was named as Nathaniel Burrell. Police say the investigation is continuing at pace as they examine local CCTV and reassure those living in the area. But more than 24 hours on, the killer still hasn't been caught. There are eyewitness reports that the suspect could have been a delivery driver on a moped. Our political correspondent Simon Harris has the latest.
Nathaniel Burrell died on a patch of grass in a street called Paradise Road. He was shot dead at the age of 16.
I'm really sad. I'm really sad. I watched him grow from he was a kid. I used to be living in Surridge Court. Knowing mom, his dad, everybody for him. Sad moments.
The Studley estate at Stockwell in South London joins a growing list of locations on London's grim and unenviable murder map. It's normally a busy cut-through for commuters heading for Stockwell Tube, but today it was still a crime scene. The local MP arrived at the police cordon to talk to Nathaniel's family.
I just met with the boys' auntie. I'm meeting with mum and sisters later, hopefully. But they are absolutely distraught and they just want answers.
Throughout the day, family members and friends came to pay their respects with flowers. Among them were two women who knew Nathaniel as a customer at the baker's where they work.
He died in a way that no one should experience at the age of his. Do you know what I mean? He has a whole life ahead of him and he didn't even get to achieve none of it.
He's so polite, always coming in, manners, everything. They're just the sweetest family around here. Everyone knows them. And it's just, I have no words.
One report suggested the killer was dressed as a bike courier delivering food. Nathaniel is the second London teenager to be murdered this year. He was shot dead in the middle of the afternoon, less than 100 yards from the flat where he lived with his mum. Almost as close is a primary school where young children and their parents couldn't avoid seeing the police activity.
I feel very scared, to be honest. It's not safe for anybody. A lot of gang crime, a lot of stabbings, even your child just going to the shop and coming back. I don't think that's safe, to be honest.
Me being a mum, it could be a brother, it could be, a grandchild, it could be anything. I'm sure, it's scary.
Gun crime in London is on the increase, up by almost a third in the last 12 months. But teenage victims are rare. Most young Londoners who are murdered are stabbed.
We need this war to stop. There's war on our streets, but the ripple effect is causing mental illness, trauma, emotional damage on a large scale, and the police cannot solve it.
Tonight, the detective in charge of the hunt for Nathaniel's killer appealed to the public for help. So far, no one has been arrested.
Well, Simon's at the Studley estate in Stockwell for us now. And Simon, there's a significant cordon still in place there tonight.
Yes, and the police are still saying very little about exactly what happened here, other than Nathaniel was shot and paramedics were unable to save him. But the big question, of course, is why. Detectives say they're keeping an open mind about the motive. There's certainly a lot of opinion here on the estate about why it happened, and the general consensus is it's yet more gang violence. It certainly has all the hallmarks. But was Nathaniel the intended target or a victim of mistaken identity? There's also a good deal of fear here tonight that it might spark a revenge attack, and there are still plenty of police officers on the estate as well as a mobile police station.
Simon, thank you very much. A PhD student from UCL has been convicted of drugging and raping 10 women in London and in China. Zhen Haozhou was found guilty of harrowing attacks on 3 women in the capital between 2019 and 2023, many of which he had filmed as souvenirs. Police found hundreds of hours of disturbing videos and photos and believe Zhao could have more than 50 more potential victims. A warning, Kafo Pata's report does contain distressing details of some of those attacks.
Hello. You Mr. Zhu, by any chance?
Full name Zhen Haozhou, a voyeur, serial sexual predator, and today a convicted rapist.
Zhu has done a very good job of presenting himself as somebody who is charming, well-educated, and someone that might be trusted. He's met women on dating sites using that kind of facade, but in reality, he's a serial rapist and a predator. He's a real danger to vulnerable women and women in general.
On the surface, Zhou portrayed himself as a charismatic PhD student. At the time of his offences, he was studying at University College London. He lived in a flat in Elephant and Castle, but his bedroom was one of the places where he drugged women, raped them, and at times even filmed his sexual assaults. During his trial, Zhou claimed the sex was consensual, a rape role play, he said. However, the video evidence begged to differ. We saw videos of women who were unconscious. In one video, one woman was even begging him to stop.
How many videos do you have?
你总共有多少条片呢拍的?
No comments.
His crime spanned over a 4-year period, 2019 to 2023. Rapes crossing continents from London to China. On his mobile devices, police discovered over 1,000 videos of women he filmed. They also found packets of Xanax, an anti-anxiety drug which he claims had helped him sleep. Bags of white powder believed to have been used on his victims, and a number of female belongings which prosecutors described as his trophies. He was only arrested after a Chinese woman reported him for a serious sexual assault.
A number of months.
Okay, sir, I'm arresting you on suspicion of rape, okay, because it is alleged.
This case is almost without precedent in my experience, and I've been in policing for 28 years. Zhou was a depraved, predatory and cowardly individual who's preyed on his victims in the most insidious and deceitful manner, and today's verdict sees him brought to justice for that offending.
Based on the videos we've got, this could have been going on since at least 2019.
Today, this sexual predator is put behind bars, but even with his convictions, the extent of his crimes aren't fully known. Police believe there may be up to 50 women who are unaware that they were attacked.
So, Kath, potentially many more victims to come forward then?
That's right, Yasmin, and given the horrific nature of his crimes, the fact that he was drugging these women and then raping them, the fact that the drugs he gave them rendered them unconscious, means that there are many more women out there who may not know that they were attacked by Zhou. Now, the police say that they're working to identify the women in the videos he filmed. As part of that, they've launched an international appeal, particularly appealing to Chinese students here in London. UCL, University College London, where Zhou studied, are also assisting with this appeal. They told us today that anyone affected at UCL can report any incidents to us through our online reporting tool and access crime prevention and personal safety support on and off campus. We will also support members of our community with reporting an incident to the police if they wish to do so. The hope, Yasmin, is that this appeal, along with what the police are doing, will help identify more of Zhou's victims.
OK, Kath, for now, thank you. 3 brothers accused of being involved in a pub fight which ended in the death of a 39-year-old man have admitted their guilt partway through their trial at the Old Bailey. Mark Bars was stabbed outside the Old Hat pub in Ealing last April. Today, Cleveland McKentry admitted his murder, while Leon Woods pleaded guilty to manslaughter and Tron McKentry to violent disorder. 2 men have been charged with the murder of a man more than 40 years ago. Anthony Littler was found with head injuries in an alleyway known as the Causeway by East Finchley Tube Station in May 1984. Michael Stewart and Anthony Stewart were arrested last March and have now been charged. Council has passed its budget, which includes an unprecedented 9% council tax increase. The Labour-run council requested exceptional financial support from the government to save them from bankruptcy last October, saying the number of residents in temporary accommodation will cost them £100 million over the next 3 years. Now, next tonight, the Prime Minister says the UK must never choose between the US and Europe. It comes the day after President Trump suspended all military aid to Ukraine, a sudden move which stunned Western allies and left Ukrainians all over the world concerned about a peaceful and lasting resolution to the war with Russia. Well, right now in South London, hundreds of people are gathering outside the US Embassy to protest against President Trump's decision, chanting, "Don't betray Ukraine." Carolyn Sim has spent the day speaking to Ukrainians living in the capital.
Tetiana Verestuk is holding out for a peace deal in Ukraine. Her brother Miroslav has been a prisoner of war in Russia for over a year. A deal could see him freed.
When did you last speak to him?
I don't speak with him.
So that was over
Anytime.
a year ago?
Yeah.
How are you coping with that?
So I don't know how I can explain the situation, because it's a very difficult situation.
If I were president, this would have never started.
When this meeting between President Zelensky and Trump dissolved into a row, all Tetiana could think of was the fate of her brother.
When it was happening, I want to cry, because it's my president, it's my country, and it's very difficult situation. But I don't know what will be in the future.
The restaurant is co-run by Olga Sibitovska, who'd been in London on holiday when the war broke out.
How do you feel Ukraine has been treated?
It was offensive to hear that Ukraine was the aggressor who started the war. People of Ukraine who showed such bravery and resilience and readiness to fight for their freedom and independence, they deserve other attitude.
At the Ukrainian Institute in Holland Park, the loss of military support from America has caused worry and dismay. Helena Krikun's youngest son is still living in Kyiv.
It's shocking, it's terrible. I think our people feel cheated and abandoned.
Ludmila Holoparova and her daughter also lived with a family in London for a year. This was them on a trip to Kharkiv before the war started.
What are your hopes for the future?
I hope in war finish and Ukrainian victory.
We do feel disillusioned that things have changed so drastically. We would not have survived if we did not hope for peace. It is very hard to find the source of that resilience and strength to keep on going, but we have no other choice.
Life in London soldiers on for Ukrainians here. They want a deal to bring lasting peace, and they want to trust those who make it happen. Carolyn Sim, ITV News.
An MP has called for an independent inquiry into how and why thousands of litres of diesel spilled into the River Wandle. 2 weeks ago, oil spilled into the chalk stream in southeast London, destroying the habitat for local wildlife, including trout, kingfishers and moorhens. Carshalton and Wallington MP Bobby Dean hosted a Westminster Hall debate this afternoon, asking the government who is going to pay for the ongoing damage. Rags Martell reports.
The wondrous Wandle, a river sanctuary to wildlife. But beneath the water, a worrying toxic spill.
Birds are dying. They've ingested all the diesel that's gone into their lungs. It's on the water here. I just can't believe people don't care about the River Wandle, the wildlife. It's just shocking.
The diesel spill happened 2 weeks ago. It came from Thornton Heath bus garage. The fuel poured along the gutters. It's thought 4,000 litres leaked into the river through the drains.
I'm very
worried about the water because I don't think the diesel's been quite cleaned up yet.
Ruhi Farouk is a Swan Sanctuary volunteer who's been trying to clean the oil off the birds.
We can only pick up the birds that are so bad that, you know, we've been able to pick them up, but, you know, there's so many that are just suffering now. A lot of them are still trying to preen the diesel off their feathers and they're ingesting it, and it's actually quite toxic to them.
The diesel spill is less visible to the naked eye now, but Wandle bird watchers say they've noticed the behaviour of animals change within the last 2 weeks.
This is now a common sight, a coot suffering from a fit of spasms, and the diesel spill is being blamed.
So how bad was the pollution then?
Further downstream we meet Dr. Jack Hogan from the South East Rivers Trust, who believes polluters are often let off too easily.
Ultimately, we believe that the polluter should pay for this. You know, that should be the principle. Generally, if there are fines, those fines will go to sort of central funds, to Treasury, and they don't always come back to the river, and we think that's unfair.
Polluter must pay.
The area's MP called for an inquiry into the spill while criticising the constant dumping of waste in our rivers.
But mostly because of its scale, that's what's caught the public's attention. But this kind of pollution happens every single day, and that's not by accident, but by design.
There are reports some birds have died, but a full investigation into the spill is still ongoing. Rags Martel, ITV News, on the River Wandle, South London.
Still to come. We're live on HMS Belfast with everything you need to know about this year's big VE Day celebrations. And
the solution lies with giving a young person a trumpet. The solution lies with giving a young person a saxophone.
Off the back of that Brit speech, Ezra Collective surprised their old school. But first, to a new AI tool that the NHS say could prevent as many as 2,000 falls and hospital admissions every single day. The predictive software developed by the Essex-based tech firm Sarah can predict a patient's risk of falling with 97% accuracy. For 87-year-old Laura, who lives alone in Hammersmith, it is a game changer. Faye Barker has the details.
87-year-old Laura had a fall, breaking her hip several years ago, and now needs carers to visit her home in Hammersmith 4 times a day. Her helpers like Kenza have been monitoring her health on an app. It's been developed to predict a person's risk of falls or coming down with an illness.
Our app basically asks us, is the client at risk of fall, how they're basically doing today, their overall health and well-being, so we can just monitor each thing. If there's any issues, everything, they've asked us all the questions on the app, so it's not like we're alone in this. Do you like sugar in your tea, Laura?
Oh yes.
For Laura, all help is welcome.
You lose your independence, you lose it because, I mean, when you were active and you used to go out and about, now you can't do it. If I need the shopping, the carers are very good.
The app's been developed by the private company Sarah, which provides social care on behalf of the NHS and local authorities. It says the technology can predict falls with 97% accuracy, and is now going to be rolled out to more of its carers nationwide after successful trials. For the NHS, hospital admissions cost it £2 billion a year, so the technology could help free up beds and save money.
Any technology that we have that can help both detect falls in older people, enables carers to then intervene earlier, improve, optimise the way that the individual's home is set up or the type of medicines they're on or any of the possible causes of fall is a good thing.
AI may be a modern invention, but here it's building on the old medical saying that prevention is better than a cure.
Do you need anything else?
Faye Barker, ITV News.
4 days of celebrations are being planned for the 80th anniversary of VE Day this summer. The government's announced a series of commemorations, including a military procession, a fly-past and, they hope, a series of street parties hosted by you. Marina Jenkins is on HMS Belfast for us now, which will play a part in the celebrations. So, Marina, London taking centre stage.
Yes, well, there is a lot planned across the capital, including here on HMS Belfast. In fact, the guns on board here were some of the first to fire on D-Day in 1944, and it continued to play an important role in the ending of the war. So that's why it is also having a very special event in May for the 80th anniversary of VE Day, and I can now reveal some of the other things that have been planned right across the city. So starting on the 5th of May, the bank holiday, there'll be the military procession from Whitehall to Buckingham Palace with the much anticipated Red Arrows fly past. And yes, street parties will also be happening up and down the country. Moving to Tuesday, landmarks across the UK will be lit up, including the display of the 30,000 ceramic poppies at the Tower of London. Wednesday, there'll be an evening concert at Westminster Hall, and Thursday, the commemorations will end with a service at Westminster Abbey and another concert at Horsecars Parade with 10,000 members of the public in attendance. But if we cast our mind back to the 75th anniversary in 2020, well, it was a much more muted occasion. Only some small ceremonies were able to take place. There was the Red Arrows fly past, but yes, it was a much smaller scale affair. So this year, with it being the 80th anniversary, it's going to be back in full, and it may well be one of the last times where veterans are able to take part in a big event. So that's sure to make it a special few days.
Absolutely. Marina, thank you very much. And Sally's here now. Sally, another gorgeous sunny day. Please tell me it's here to last.
OK, well, I give with one hand and I take it away with the other. First of all, let me tell you how much sunshine we have had. Look at this graphic. Hope you can see it. We have had 25 hours of sunshine so far this month. That's 21% of our monthly average. Normally, we'd only have had about 10% by now. So we're doing really well. More to come tomorrow. Friday's a bit iffy, but actually it's looking really nice now into the weekend. It's quite mild. It's probably not going to be quite as bright as today, but there will be some beautiful sunshine for you to enjoy and warmer nights.
We'll take it.
Let's take a look. Exactly.
ITV London weekday weather is sponsored by Octopus, the renewable energy company.
Hello again, a very good evening to you. Well, this is literally looking like an angry bird, isn't it? I wonder if it's crossed with this robin saying, stop singing. Reminds me of home. Anyway, let's move on. We've got some nice weather again tomorrow, sunny and mild, but turning a bit cloudier through the day and into Friday, potentially on Friday, a little bit of rain and drizzle. The good news is we have got a fairly fine and dry weekend. So we'll take that. Let's take a look at the detail for you. Tonight we've got, as we've had the last few nights, a lot of clear skies. So the temperature's definitely dropping down, but slight changes that they're just not quite as far as the last few nights, likely to stay above freezing for a lot of us. So there might be the odd bit of frost here or there, but not too much. Still, the chance of a few pockets of mist and fog around, though, particularly to the south of Greater London. But anyway, first thing tomorrow morning, it will still be chilly, but another beautiful day for you, certainly for the first half. Loads of blue sky and sunshine, slightly breezier. And from the west, you can see this cloud just starting to edge its way in very cheekily as the day goes on. Little breezier tomorrow, I think I mentioned that, but those temperatures potentially a tiny bit up. We may well get the warmest day of the year so far tomorrow, highs of 15 to 16 degrees. For the evening, that cloud continues to make its way eastwards, should stay dry, but as we head on into Friday, we get a little bit more of a change. You can see that here, this front edge is closer, and we could well get some light rain and drizzle, but it picks up again as we go into the weekend, looking drier and brighter, and those temperatures coming up by night as well, a milder end to the day. Take care. Cheerio.
Octopus Energy sponsors ITV London weekday weather.
And finally tonight, when Ezra Collective won their Brit Award on Saturday night, they said giving a young person a trumpet could help change the country, saying when you do that, you give them a dream, an aspiration and a goal. And true to their word, the jazz band have been back to one of their old schools in Dulwich, proving that they practice what they preach. Antoine Allen has the story.
Practice makes pitch perfect. South London students were graced by a surprise visit from a Brit Award winner, whom embodies the importance of free music classes for all.
Also, Mr. Brown actually taught me when I was a kid as well. So this is all very full circle and special.
Femi from jazz band Ezra Collective joined the music lesson at Kingsdale Foundation School, just days after his collective won Group of the Year at the Brit Awards.
This moment right here is because of the great youth clubs and the great teachers and the great schools that support young people playing music. It was important because it's what we're trying to inspire. You know, we have a dream as a band that every school in the country can have access to musical instruments and every child can get the opportunity to play.
Ezra Collective trumpet player Ife went to Kingsdale. After performing at the Brits, he is having a well-earned rest. This afternoon, Femi was alone, but not empty-handed. The band donated a whole drum kit and music accessories. The students here say Ezra Collective acknowledging their school proves award winners can come from humble beginnings.
It's crazy to think about, but it kind of makes you think, oh, it's not impossible, you can do it. Even if it is tough, but it's possible.
I think it's very inspiring that someone came from a little school in South London and made it all the way to the Brits.
As amazing as Kingsdale are, there is a massive school with a massive music department, and there are always shortages of mics or of things like that, so it's really, really amazing.
Ezra Collective are the face of modern jazz, but their journey began in classes across the capital. Femi shared advice to the next generation.
Continue to be yourself, continue to work on yourself and be unapologetically yourself, and your moment will come. You know, EZ has been going 13 years and that was the first time we ever attended the Brits and we never changed who we were.
Ezra Collective want their meteoric rise to continue. They dream of one day headlining Glastonbury's main stage. For now, Femi was equally excited and proud to play with the students inspired by his group's groundbreaking achievements. Antoine Allen, ITV News.
Love them. That's it from us. Lucrezia's here next with the evening news, but for now, from all of us on the London team, enjoy your evening. Bye-bye.